Scene 1. The deadly silence mysterious. Low-frequency music with the sound of radio-static narrator. On February 11th, 1985, at 9:20 a.m. Moscow time. Everything went black. On the screens of the Soviet Control Center, the signal that linked Earth to the Salyut 7 space station vanished. It wasn't just a malfunction, it was absolute silence. No electricity, no communication, and no way to control it. It was hurtling through orbit like a ticking time bomb. If it fell, it wouldn't fall as a shooting star, but as a diplomatic and environmental disaster that could ignite a war. Scene 2, Mission Impossible. Narrator, generals, and scientists gathered. The experts said, "The station is dead. We cannot approach it." The mission: to approach a dead object, tumbling irregularly, sending no radar signals. They had to perform a manual docking. Imagine trying to thread a needle while riding a high-speed train, and the needle is flying in a hurricane. All in the darkness of space. Scene 3. Meeting the metallic beast epic. Calm music with the sound of an astronaut's heavy breathing. Narrator: after 2 days of flight, Salyut 7 appeared in the window. It wasn't shining as it did in the photos. It was pale, like a ghost. Dzhanibekov held the control stick with his bare hand, his eyes fixed on the station. He used a handheld laser device to estimate the distance. With a legendary steadiness of hand, he performed a maneuver never recorded in any training manual. He matched the speed of the tumbling station with his spacecraft, and in a moment where time froze, a clack was heard. They had docked successfully. They had done the impossible ... but the true horror was waiting behind the hatch. Scene 4. Inside the icy vault, sound of a heavy metal door opening with difficulty. Then total silence with the echo of water droplets. Narrator: when the astronauts opened the hatch and entered, they were shocked. This wasn't a space station. It was an ice cellar. The temperature was 20 degrees below zero. The walls were covered in a layer of frost, glistening under their flashlights. There was a strange danger, brilliant in its simplicity, the breath bubble. In space, there is no air convection. The oxygen an astronaut exhales stays trapped around their head as a bubble of carbon dioxide. If he stands still, he will suffocate on his own breath. They had to keep moving constantly just to stay alive. Intense music, sounds of clinking metal and tools. Narrator: here, human genius manifested in its finest form. Protocols said, wait for orders, but the astronauts knew they would freeze to death before orders arrived. Viktor, the engineer, began analyzing the frozen wires. The problem: if they turned on the heaters, the ice would melt and the water would cause a short circuit that would incinerate the station instantly. What did they do? First, they used every piece of cloth, even their socks, to manually wipe away every drop of melting water. Second, the ultimate stroke of genius: they bypassed the dead computers and connected the batteries directly to the solar panels. They spoke to the sun as if it were their only savior. Narrator: after days of grueling work with frozen fingers, wearing fur coats and wool hats inside the station, the miracle happened. That night, the astronauts looked out the window toward Earth, drinking hot tea for the first time, and realized they weren't just astronauts. Music ends with a clear radio signal beep.